ביאור משנה ה'. כבר הזכרנו, we already mentioned, שכל השובת בעיר מהלך את העיר כולה. If you stay within the city, Shabbos comes in and you are within a city, you're allowed to walk the entire city, וחוצה לה 2,000 אמה לכל רוח, and outside 2,000 אמה in every direction. ואפילו מי שהיה ישן בערב שבת בין השמשות, even if you were sleeping at the time, in other words, you were sleeping, it didn't buy. We said it has to buy for you. Even if somebody was sleeping, הרי הוא קונה שביתה עם שאר בני העיר. He buys the rest, his place, with the other city dwellers. אף על פי שלא התכוון לכך, even though he had no intention. He just went to sleep. משנתנו דנה במי שהיה בדרך. Our Mishnah comes, somebody was on the way, and he went to sleep before Shabbos came in. No, he didn't think about it. He was tired. No. You're going in the way, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And you want to sleep. You want to sleep, say, I wake up in half an hour. You wake up, it's dark already, it's Shabbos. So the question is, did the place bought for you? What does it mean? We'll see. והיה ישן בערב שבת בין השמשות. So in other words, are we going to say he's got 2,000 amma from the place that he has? Or 4 amma? Does he need... we know for sure that the city buys. The question is, why does the city buy? That's another question. Does the city buy just because of you or because of somebody else?
It says here מתושבי העיר.
Oh, it looks like it needs... The people around you can buy it for you. The question, if you're on your own and you went to sleep, what happens then? Did you buy the place or you didn't buy the place? That's going to be the Mishnah. Okay. מי שישן בדרך, somebody who slept on the way, בערב שבת, on Friday, ולא ידע שחשיכה, he went to sleep for 5 minutes and he slept for 3 hours. ונמצא שלא התכוון בין השמשות לקנות שביתה, and he did not have the intention to buy a dwelling place for this Shabbat. יש לו 2,000 אמה לכל רוח. We're still going to give him 2,000 אמה to every direction. We don't say you only have 4 אמה, we're going to give you 2,000 אמה. ממקום שישם שם, שקנה שם שביתה. Because we say you bought, in other words, you don't need to be awake in order to buy.
Or by the fact that that's where he dwelled. he קנה שביתה שם. כאילו, that's what he stayed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it doesn't buy shvita usually. It only buys you 4 amma.
Yeah, no, but from this it's like your dwelling place. This is where you sleep, in a way. So that maybe buy you shvita.
Yeah, but it's like it's where you sleep on a weekday, not where you were planning to sleep for Shabbat. That's the point. You were not planning to sleep there for Shabbat. If you were planning to sleep over Shabbat, you are right. He wasn't planning to sleep there on Shabbat. He was planning to continue to walk. He just practically did it because he fell asleep too long and had Shabbat. Yeah, but you're right that if he was planning, then for sure it buys him. The problem is, if you ask him when he went to sleep, he says, no, I'm going to do it later on. So in other words, he didn't think that this place is going to be Shabbos for him. That's the problem.
Okay.
So who says he buys? Says, what do you mean he buys? He planned to be on Shabbat. He planned to be 3 miles down the road. Why are you saying he bought? So this is Divrei Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. This is who says that he bought it. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says it. Bagmara mevu'ar tamo. And by the way, like we explained it now, he shouldn't buy it because he was planning to sleep over there. So how did you? Or not even the city. Let's say there's no city. 3 miles down the road he was planning to be. בגמרא מבואר טעמו שלדעתו הישן דינו כחפצי הפקר. So this is going to be מחלוקת, the disagreement. It says a person is like an object of hefker. Hefker means nobody owns it. For example, if I take my watch now and I'm going to put it over here and I say I don't own this watch, nobody owns it, anybody can come and claim it. So let's see what's the din of kinei hefker. שאין להם דעת בעלים, that they don't have, hefker doesn't have the knowledge of the owners. והוא סובר שחפצי הפקר קונים שביתה במקומה. It says the object of הפקר, they buy shvita in their place. And therefore, what do you mean they buy the shvita in their place? יש להם 2,000 אמה לכל רוח. And the object has 2,000 אמה to every direction. What does it mean? כלומר, שאין הזוכה בהם רשאי להוליכם למקום שהוא ירב, אלא 2,000 אמה לכל רוח ממקום שביתתם הם. הלקח, אף הישן קנה שביתה במקומו, ויש לו 2,000 אמה לכל רוח. It says an object of the person, only, I'm not exactly sure, I have to look up exactly what the halacha is, but it looks like when you leave an object you find which is hefker, which means somebody put it there and there's no owners to it. And there's rules of when can you assume it's ownerless, when you cannot assume it's ownerless. But let's say this object, the rule says that it is ownerless. So it says, now can you grab it and walk it with you? It's a Yom Tov, it's not Shabbos. Shabbos allowed to carry. So it's a Yom Tov. It says, are you allowed to take this object back to your camp? Yeah? So it says, if it's within 2,000 amma, you're allowed to. If it's more than 2,000 amma, you're not allowed to. But the object has 2,000 amma from its place to whatever. And it says, we're going to consider the sleeping person is like an object. He doesn't have any knowledge right now when he's sleeping. So therefore he has 2,000 amma, just like an object. וחכמים אומרים, but the sage says, I'm not quite sure exactly what's the case with the hefker over here, I'll have to check. וחכמים אומרים, and the sage says, אין לו אלא 4 אמות. It says, no, he's a person, he's not an object, and a person needs knowledge, and therefore since he didn't mean to camp over here, that wasn't his intention, he only has 4 אמות. שלדעת חכמים חפצי הפקר אינם קונים שביתה במקומם. According to the sages, objects do not buy a placement in their place, אלא כל הזוכה בהם מוליכם למקום שהוא יכול ללך. But anybody who redeems them, who takes them, is able to take them to the place that he is walking. ואף הישן אינו קונה שביתה. And also the person who is sleeping doesn't buy his dwelling place. שאין קונים שביתה שלא מדעת. It says if the only way to buy Shabbat, where you are going to be, is you have to acknowledge it, you have to know it. שהיה לו ליתן על ליבו שמא תחשך. In other words, you need to have in mind, if it's going to become dark, and Shabbat is going to come in when I go to sleep, then this is the place I'm going to sleep. If you didn't have that in mind, you only have 4 amot.
And what if you said, if I'm going to fall asleep, I want to shbot in the city. I want to do the shvita in the city.
You can't. What do you mean? You only have 2,000 amma.
What do you mean?
You only have 2,000.
But let's say that we didn't see the city, but he knows that there is a city. So he said, I'm going to go to sleep, but my mind is to do the shvita in the city. And let's say the city is we found out another 1,000 amma for more.
Then we have, it's a previous Mishnah. Then it's a previous Mishnah. It's going to Rabbi Yehuda. He's allowed to walk into the city and go the entire city. But over here, there's not even a city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're more than 2,000 amma away from the city.
Exactly.
Yeah. שאין קונים שביתה שלא מדעת. שהיה לו ליתן את ליבו שמא תחשך. He had to have the intention, maybe it's going to become dark. וקודם שנרדם היה צריך לומר, and before he went to sleep he should have said, שביתתי במקומי, I am going to dwell over here. וכיוון שלא אמר כן, since he did not say so, הרי הוא כמי שיצא בשבת לחוץ לתחום. He's like somebody who went out of Shabbat outside the boundary. ואין לו אלא 400 בלבד. And he doesn't have only 4 אמות. ואומנם הלכה כחכמים בחפצי הפקר. The halacha is like חכמים with objects of הפקר, שאינם קונים שביתה במקומם. That the object doesn't buy the dwelling place. אבל בישן הלכה כרבי יוחנן בן נורי. But when somebody is sleeping, the halacha is like רבי יוחנן בן נורי, שקונה שביתה במקומו, that he does buy. A person does buy. ויש לו 2,000 אמה לכל רוח, and therefore he has 2,000 אמה to every direction, שהואיל ואילו היה ער היה קונה שביתה שם, אף כשהוא ישן קונה שם שביתה. it looks like we're going to go to, I don't know exactly what the hefker is again, but Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says a human being is not like an object, and when he goes to sleep, even if he didn't have intention, we're going to consider it like he has 2000 amma. Maybe the reasoning you can think about that subconsciously, if you would have asked him, right, do you want to sleep here if you don't wake up? He would have told her, yes, I do. So subconsciously, that's in his mind. He says, that's enough. Yeah? Even though he didn't have really intention, he had subconscious intention. Maybe we can learn this on Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Rabbi Eliezer says, Vehu be'emtza'an, and he's in the middle. What does that mean? כלומר, שרבי אליעזר סובר אומנם כחכמים. Rabbi Eliezer thinks just like the sages. What is like the sages? שאין לו אלא 400. He only has 4 אמות. אבל חולק הוא על חכמים בעניין 4 אמות אלו. But he is disagreeing with the sages about these 4 אמות. שלדעת חכמים יש לו 4 אמות לכל צד. According to the sages, he's got 4 אמות to every direction. היינו שטח של 8 אמות על 8 אמות. He has a distance of 8 on 8, which means 4 meters by 4 meters, quite a large area. ורבי אליעזר סובר שהוא באמצעם של 4 אמות. And Rabbi Eliezer says, no, he's in the middle of this 4 אמות. He's got hardly nothing. Yeah? כלומר שאין לו 2 אמות לכל רוח, which means that he only has 2 אמות over here, 2 אמות over here, 2 אמות over here, and 2 אמות over here. In other words, when we say he's got 4 אמות, 4 אמות more than him, or 4 אמות with him.
Is that the question? Because I've always wondered that. So the 4 amot, is it from where you're standing to that way? Because that makes the inverse square wall, so it gets bigger and bigger potentially. Or can I only take 4 steps that way and then?
So we have a disagreement. The Chachamim says the 4 amma is if you lay down, yeah, doesn't matter which direction you're lying down, you have 4 amma more in whichever direction. And Rabbi Eliezer says, no, where you are standing, you only have 2 amma on every direction. Rabbi Yehuda אומר, לאיזה רוח שירצה ילך. Rabbi Yehuda says he's allowed to walk to whichever direction he wants. רשאי הוא לבחור לו 4 אמות לכל רוח שירצה. He's allowed to choose which direction his 4 amot should go to. In other words, he can start, he says, I don't want to use this one, so I don't have the 2 ammas, I can have 4 ammas on one direction, and not just 2 ammas. Yeah? I can just go in one direction. ומודה רבי יהודה לרבי אליעזר, and Rabbi Yehuda agrees with Rabbi Eliezer, שאם בירר לו 2 לכאן ו2 לכאן, that once he chose 2 this direction and 2 that direction, או אם בירר לו 4 אמותיו לצד אחד, or once he established, I'm going to use all my feet only in one direction, 4 into one direction, אם באמירה, אם במעשה, whether it was thought, whether it was action, שאינו יכול לחזור בו. You cannot change your mind. Once you said it, you can say, oh, maybe I shouldn't, and then re-say it, even before you use it. It says, no. Once you established it in thought, or established it in action, it's done. ולבחור אחר כך לצד אחר. You cannot change your mind. בגמרא אמרו, in the Gemara they said, שלא נחלקו לעניין הליכה. They're only disagreeing when it comes to walking. כלומר, שלדעת חכמים מותר לו לפסוע מתחילת 8 לסוף 8 אמות. According to the sages, he's allowed to walk from the beginning of the 8 until the end of the 8. אבל לעניין טלטול, but when it comes to carrying, אף חכמים מודים שאינו מטלטל אלא 4 אמות בלבד. But to carrying, you're only allowed to carry 2 amot to each direction. So the only disagreement is walking, not carrying. Carrying, everybody agrees like Rabbi Eliezer. The question is walking, are you going to get a little bit more or not? We're going to go according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri that we get 2,000 amma. We don't go to Chachamim and we don't go to like Rabbi Eliezer.